So greetings from West Virginia. I know we're kind of on a Western PA trip, but I'm kind of, like I mentioned in previous videos, I'm kind of swinging down into Virginia, West Virginia for just a bit, but we'll be swinging back up into Greene County, Pennsylvania again, kind of working on that covered bridge tour of Greene County. But while we're here in West Virginia, we're going to stop at the Mason-Dixon Park, and up on the hill behind me up there is the last marker stone for the Mason-Dixon line. I think up on the way up there on that hill somewhere. Yes, like I said, this is the Mason-Dixon Historical Park. Right there's a sign for it. This is Route 31, and just down there, this is just past the junction with Route 7. I think I said 30. This is 39. I think I got that wrong. So just past the junction with Route 39 and Route 7. Here's the map. So we are right here, down here. We're gonna make our way up. Oh, I gotta go up the hill. Steep part there. It looks like it gets easier. Up to the marker, right here on the boundary between Pennsylvania and what's currently West Virginia. It looks like we gotta go up that way. So, all right. So let's make our way up this hill. Looks like I think I need to go up that way. Let's get this steep part done with. I'll tell you in a little bit once we get done with the steep part of the hike and into some shade up there. We'll talk about a little bit of a history of the Mason-Dixon line. Oh, they have a purple martin house right there. That's kind of cool. All right. Anyway, we'll go on. So let's get up the hill into the shade, and we'll talk some history and make our way to that stone. Yeah, see the trail marker, the trail marker right up there. Here's just a quick view looking back. It is a bit of a steep hike up here, but get some views. All right, but let's get this steep part over with. There's the marker. So it is definitely a steep hike up here. That section was the steepest, but looks like it's gonna maybe flatten out a bit up here. It's not that long of a distance to the stone marker. Ooh, a bench. That's a nice spot for one. A quick check, see if I have cell service. All right, so we have the Lucky Dog Trail goes that way. We want to stay on the Red Blaze Trail here, or the Red Arrow Trail. Yeah, a little bit nicer through here now. And in the shade. So yeah, most people are familiar with the Mason-Dixon line. Most people are familiar with the idea of it being the border between the North and the South during the American Civil War. Because I cross it all the time whenever you leave Pennsylvania or enter back, you're crossing the Mason-Dixon line. But its history predates the Civil War, and it was not created for that era. It was actually formed in the 1760s to help solve a border dispute between several states: Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, and then later Virginia. Because in the early history, even before we were a country, a nation, still part of Britain, there were border disputes between the colonies. A lot of times due to just, inaccuracies in the way the lands are surveyed and laid out. So a lot of southern Pennsylvania was claimed by both Maryland and Delaware. And we were out in southwest Pennsylvania, where we've been during this trip. A lot of that was claimed by what was then Virginia. So there's a lot of disputes. And it affected quite a bit of the history during that time too. Of course, I've been doing a series on the French and Indian War that occurred, late 1750s into early 1760s. But those border disputes affected the French and Indian War. Some states wouldn't help neighboring states because of those border disputes. It was kind of confusing as to which state you were in. People didn't know sometimes. Are you in Maryland? Are you in Pennsylvania? It affected, recently doing like the Forbes expedition, it affected, some of that and the cooperation and partnership between folks because of those land and border disputes. All right, keep going straight. Shouldn't be too far from it now. So the solution to that was the Mason-Dixon line. It's called that because the two men who surveyed the line, their last names are Mason and Dixon. Jeremiah Dixon, I forget. James Mason, I forget the first names all of a sudden. And it was agreed upon that those would be the borders then. And then, but later, because that was in the, I think it started 1763. But then they did extend the Mason-Dixon line out this way to help solve some of the later disputes between Pennsylvania and what was then Virginia. Today it's West Virginia. You're trying to hike uphill and talk about history to the camera at the same time puts you out of breath. So maybe I'll just stop talking until we get to the actual marker. Beautiful little trail up here. The mountain is really interesting. It just drops down steeply on both sides. I believe we have reached the top of the hill. Yeah, you can see why I placed the marker stone up here. It's covered on this prominent hill. Let's find that stone. It should be not too far up here. Once we find it, we'll be back in Pennsylvania again. So we may have arrived. I see some stones and a sign here. 4 of them. Is this the spot? What does this say? Yeah, the last observation of Mason and Dixon. I'm not gonna read all of it. As always, you can pause the video, but at this point on October 11th, 1767, yeah, Charles Mason, I got Jeremiah right, began astronomical observations which would continue for 7 nights to determine their precise location in relationship to the line. This was the westernmost point of Mason and Dixon's travel on the famous line which bears their name. On their way eastward to Philadelphia, they opened an 8-yard wide vista along the line and placed additional monuments on the prominent peaks, including this one right here. So I guess these are the marker stones right here. I thought it would just be one stone from the pictures I saw, but I'm gonna quick take a walk just up there yet to see if there's anything up there. My guess is there's a spot. The sign is right here, but the pictures I saw just had it as being just one stone, but we'll see. I'm gonna quick walk up there. So I do see a stone up here too. Let's see what this one is. This kind of looks like what I saw in the pictures. Whoops. There's a date on this one. 1883 it says. West Virginia. Pennsylvania, so I'm in Pennsylvania right now. So there's the stone, and here's some information about it. Here it says, you know, end of the Mason-Dixon's line. Talks about October 9th, 1767. Yeah, what did they do here? I mean, as years passed, the post rotted away and was replaced by this stone. I mean, honestly, it's kind of confusing, because so is this the last marker stone, or what was the deal down there? That's kind of confusing, because this, yeah. Anyway, here you go, whichever one it is. This is the border. So maybe it was placed here in 1883 to replace the one that rotted away. It appears to me that this one up here is the actual marker stone that was placed there in later years. I'll go back, when we head back there, I'll stop and read that sign again. Maybe we'll see what it's like. It's just a little bit confusing. You get to that spot and you think that that's the location. I'm going to take a quick little break, have a little snack here, and then we'll continue on down. Alright, so break, snack time over. A little time to think there. I think maybe the point down here was just their observation point. Like I said, they were using that point to observe the stars and figure out where to put that marker stone. So maybe we'll double check that. I think that's what that was. Just got a little confusing there. I saw the stones and the sign there. Almost felt like that was the spot. Yeah, that's what this is. This is where they began the this is the last observation. So right here, the last observation, and up here is the stone on Brown's Hill. So, yeah. I feel like they should make that just a little bit more clear, though. I know some people say we should have known, Cliff, but I feel like if you come up here, you see the stones, and it kind of feels like this is the spot. They should probably make it a little bit more clear that the actual marker stone is a little ways up further. Anyway, just a thought. But we figured it out. I guess I just got kind of excited. I got to the top of the hill and there's stones, you know, and I thought I was there. But I'm glad I double checked and went on going. I think there should be a sign, marker stone, actual marker stone up that way yet. But alright, it's all good. But I think that'll be it for this video then. We're gonna hop back in the Jeep and head back into Pennsylvania, even though I was just in Pennsylvania at the top of the hill there for a bit. But I'm gonna continue my covered bridge tour of Greene County up in Pennsylvania. So hopefully I will see you there. But as always, folks, thanks for watching. And yeah.